Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to another episode on Gambia College Show. Here with me, live on Better Future Production. My co-host is Abdullah Yaya Baji, and then our guest here is Honorable Mr. Baji, a lecturer in the Gambia College, and of course, the chairperson of the Gambia College Academic Staff Association. So, Mr. Baji, welcome to Gambia College Show, live on Better Future Production.
Thank you very much.
And and Mr. Baji as well. So today our topic of discussion will be the effectiveness of learning and assessment in the Gambia College, in which Mr. Baji will tell us more about that. How is the effectiveness of teaching and learning in the Gambia College? So, Mr. Baji, the Baji Squires, my co-host, and our honorable guest, you are welcome.
I think you should address him as Mr. Baji EPS, then Mr. Baji.
Okay, fine.
More clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, to begin my questioning, Mr. Baji, I want you to tell us what is the difference between learning and assessment.
All right. Thank you very much, Lamin. Indeed, I want to say good evening to viewers and everyone out there. Very much I'm delighted to be part of this program and invited on this show. The question is fundamental in the sense that we have to look at the parallels that learning and assessment is. And when you looked at many psychologists have seen learning to be sort of like the outcome of
Okay.
an assessment. And that's why many will say before you start teaching, you must assess. And for learning to take place, you must have certain elements that you tend to measure and the like. So different scholars have looked at learning in different perspectives. But then they said it's a permanent change, relatively permanent change in behavior, which is driven by many factors, especially interest and motivation. And when we looked at assessment, an assessment is a process.
Okay.
And then you can have it at different stages. And commonly we call it formative assessment and summative assessment.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. So basically, those are the differences that you have highlighted. Now, looking at the Gambia College, there are a lot of issues when it comes to learning and assessment. One of the issues is the current situation that students are encountering is the large class size, whereby some of the general courses you have about 400 plus students in one class. So, can you tell us how effective is this large class in the Gambia College?
Well, for us, we deliver, and our role as lecturers is to lecture, and the lecture method could happen in even larger class size.
Okay.
But what is fundamental here is the program that we are giving service to,
Okay.
which is education, and it needs the understanding of the different pedagogy and andragogies that are available to avail the learner to be able to learn effectively.
Exactly.
And as such, of course, large class may not be very much ideal, where you need to deliver, pedagogical content and, the andragogy and so forth that is needed
Yeah.
for a better teaching.
Mhm.
And we just found ourselves in a very funny situation where
Mhm.
perhaps I will say sometimes it's about issue of management,
Mhm.
and but when you looked at delivery on our aspects as
Mhm.
lecturers, we can deliver. We, just lecture method. You go stand there and then give out the lectures and so forth. But then, especially the light class size where you highlighted, that is like the professional area, EPS, where they tend to put a lot of students.
Mhm.
Is to me is a wrong concept, and
Mhm.
actually we have been talking about it,
Mhm.
and it's like if you are not in that hem of affairs to manage and so forth,
Mhm.
it's left is less than you can impact,
Mhm.
because you can only highlight and then put forward your view,
Yeah.
but the decision may lie on the people who are giving the affairs to steer the management of the institution.
Yeah.
And if you could remember, on several occasions,
Mhm.
I talked about this, and students have approached me to seek my opinion,
Okay.
and I told them candidly that
Mhm.
the light class size is not favorable to give the right information that is needed for people who are going to teach other people to do so. But it doesn't pay much
Mhm.
because people don't see perhaps what I see. To me, I'm looking at effectiveness and best practice.
So, Mr. Bayo, coming into that, with regards to this, you've mentioned in your talk that you find yourself in a very funny situation as in regards to the like class size that is introduced in the Gambia College. Now, can you tell us, because I'm a bit confused, what do you mean by a funny situation?
Yeah, because the thing is, if you happen to see something which is not proper,
Mhm.
and you try to talk about it, and people don't heed, because maybe they are only looking at one aspect, and that could be maybe what interests them or what favors them, to the expense of the nation, then it becomes a problem. And personally, with other colleagues as well, we have, of course, put forth our opinion that it is not ideal.
Okay.
But I think the situation that leads them to also look forward to having these light classes is to look forward of having a lot of students enrolled,
Okay.
and because the college, as it is private, it is on private
Privatize.
now,
Okay.
they have less government subvention,
Okay.
and it's like they look forward to having more students to be able to have more resources.
Okay.
Okay, and that's forcing them to go in for this light class size,
So,
which is not good to the students because they may not learn effectively,
okay.
as well as to the nation. We argue it out, but we could not succeed because it's like a deaf ear was paid,
Okay.
and eventually, what we look for, it is not.
Okay.
Like some of us, we put the development of the state first, and I think government have to be very critical when it comes to the situation of the Gambia College.
Exactly.
And it's like at the side of the management, the amount of money that the student pay and so forth may not be able to run the affairs of the college at the same time, pay the number of lecturers
Lecturers.
that
Okay.
are needed and so forth. And this means something else.
Okay.
And if that is what is going to force them to increase the light class size, which will not give effective teaching and learning, then I think government needs to look into that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what happens is forcing the college to either increase the
The
fees
the fee,
to be able to run
their
college
affairs.
and
Okay.
as well pay the lecturers accordingly.
All right.
Yes.
So I think that one is very, very clear, and we've had your deliberation
Yeah.
that the government should at least do something to come to the aid of the college in order to make sure that there is quality and effectiveness when it comes to service delivery. Mr. Yaya Baji, my co-host today in the studio. Um, Now, looking at this class size, people were saying, there were a lot of, rumors going on. Somewhere even saying that like it's due to, let's say, um, is due to the number of part-time lecturers that the college were taking, and assessment becomes a problem at the end of the day. That prompted them to the introduction of this class size. So is it something that you think is something happening in the college or not?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Mr. Baji did.
So you can link that question to Mr. Baji, so
Yeah.
that Baji will be there to clarify.
Exactly.
Because today he is here to represent
Yeah.
the academic staff. Yeah.
Well, he made mention of the issues or things that may trigger the introduction of this large class size. But when this large class size was introduced, you are a witness that students find it very difficult to cope with that. And even though that we decided to continue with the large class size, and there were still lapses in which even if the lecturer is speaking, the last man at the last part of the hall will not hear what the lecturer is saying. Unlike Mr. Baji, if he stands at the hall, he may speak and then the last man will hear it. But somebody whose voice is very low will find it very difficult to do that. Now, coming back to the question that I have, in the event that there is a class going on, and then as we all know that maybe 200 students or 150 students are in the hall,
Yeah.
how do you think this is a problem to you, the staff? Because talking about the students, we're coming to the students, but how is this a problem to you, the staff,
That
in
is
terms of delivering to what is expected of you in that large
classroom management.
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, it's not an easy task. And you see, every lecturer wants the best to come out from the student that he or she, happens to lecture during the period.
Okay.
And if effectiveness cannot be there, there is no way that we will tell you that we are happy with it, or it is okay, or it is manageable. The only thing is, of course, we will just do what we think we are able to do, because you cannot just go beyond your limits. But to actually call it start, I think it is always difficult. It is difficult because time management is also something else.
Okay.
To be able to reach every individual who has a concern is also another challenge. And at the end of the day, you will find out that many students will be out there, may not be satisfied with the output, because they may not get it, or they may be unable to get their views cleared also on the line. So actually, it is a challenge, and we will not say it's easy. The only thing is we just do sometimes what we are to do, and left the rest with the students to see what they will come out with.
Yes, Mr. Baji, coming back to that, from the student leaders, they've always said this during their encounter or meetings with the college admin. All they emphasize with due to what prompted to the introduction of this large class size is because the number of part-time that they were taking is too much, and most of the time those part-timers they are not submitting feedback at the end of their that particular trimester, so which becomes a problem when it comes to the grading issue. Do you think that this is just an insinuation or something that is that is the reality on the ground?
Well, my opinion
Yes.
and my engagement
Okay.
is that perhaps that's their version, but
Mhm.
to me, it's like you look at the number of part-timers that they're taking.
Okay.
The EPS department, of course, we used to have up to about 26 part-timers when we have the large number of students.
Okay.
Because you cannot avoid taking part-timers.
Yes.
That's out of it.
That's how that exactly.
So if you don't recruit lecturers, you must take part-time.
Sorry.
Okay, if you know that your lecturer capacity is very low, then what will prompt you to take a lot of how to call it, students?
Okay.
Because if you take about 1,000, students in a diploma program, you take about 1,000 plus students in an advanced
diploma.
Now you look at the lecturer-student ratio. And in fact, the lecturer-student ratio is not cross-cutting because different programs, students specializes in different programs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now the EPS department is to see all the students. How many students are we talking about at a go? Sometimes we have about close to 3,000 students at a go. A department with, let's say, 4 lecturers. So if it is full-time lecturers, you now imagine what is the load of those lecturers. And now what is now stopping the management from recruiting? So if they don't recruit, obviously the 4 lecturers cannot take 3,000 students.
Yeah, surely.
So of course we need part-timers, and that's why most of the time we will go in for about 26 part-timers to be able to fill the gaps that are there. And most of these part-timers, of course, sometimes we overload them, because you look at the number of students in a class, the loan that the part-timers will take, it is not, right, okay? And talk less of even whatsoever. You see, if we are talking about effectiveness, we have to look at the value of the outcome
of it.
Today, what is talked about when it comes to the teachers that we are training, that we are graduating? Many people will sit out there and then, they said, okay, there are teachers who cannot even write.
Sure.
There are teachers who cannot do this.
Exactly.
There are teachers who cannot speak and so forth. Why? Simply because of what? These large numbers that people are not conscious of perhaps the quality that we are, to put forward through the effective interaction.
Sure.
And if you're to have this large class size, you cannot do any effective interaction. You see, seminar programs are different from lecture. And especially professional courses are different from general courses.
Exactly.
And they're different from conceptual courses. Courses like gender, they are conceptual courses. You can gather even 1,000 people in a hall and give them a lecture to deliver on the concept and so forth. That's a goal. But this EPS is a professional course. And a professional course cannot be delivered because the professional course is what makes teachers. And teachers need what methodology, and andragogy to make sure they're able to deliver effectively.
Exactly.
So that needs an interaction to be able to establish whether the learner is following or understood what to do when is to handle a class and so forth. So you cannot do that, packing 400 students in a hall.
Definitely,
Yes,
that is going to be something crazy.
At the end of the day, they will end up blaming us,
Yeah.
and the like. Like I used to take students initially on research methods.
Research,
You have more than 250 students to 300 students in a hall. You want to teach those people research method and so forth. At the end of the day, writing projects, they have issues. When they have issues and the like, other lecturers will tend to blame EPS department. They said, it's the EPS department that take lectures and so forth. Forgetting that, there's a hall of 300 students.
Exactly.
How can you address their problem of where they do not even understand and so forth?
It's going to be something.
These are
So, Mr. Baji, or you have something, or you have a question?
I just want to put something on, or ask a question on Mr. Baji. Just a short one for that
Okay.
matter. Yes, talking about the effectiveness of the large class size. Like you talked about, maybe they want to limit the number of part-time lecturers that they are hiring, and then up to date, like we are still encountering the same thing, that even though they adopted this system that they normally call the Ghana system, when you go to make consultation from the right authorities, they will tell you that we want to adopt the Ghana system, in which it's really not helping. You made mention of
what is the Ghana system?
the Ghana system of converging a lot of students in the same hall.
You see, okay, as we are talking now, if Ghanaians will hear you, see, there are conducts. And I think it's important for people to do research. You see, sometimes I argue simply because I make findings. And people will try to just, blindfold you or try to blackmail you by telling that this is what operates there, this is what operates there, this is what operates there. But when you look at standards, professional courses are not general courses.
Exactly. Did mention that.
See that? Professional courses are not general courses, and general courses, professional courses, there is nowhere in the world where you have large class size.
Exactly.
you know, professional courses, if you go to certain literatures, or even you make research on institutions, you will see that most of the time in the Western countries, the number should not be more than 20. It is between 15 to 20.
That's the professional
Yes,
courses.
professional courses. Because there are methodological courses. They are, you know, they are andragogy. You apply this thing. You have to have engagement with the students to see whether it's able to do certain things and so forth. Because they are sort of like practical oriented.
Yeah, in fact, I think that will bring the issue of these courses in EPS, that is called educational research. Most of the time, it is done in a large class size. Normally, students understand little about research. So when it comes to their project writing, they find it very difficult.
Very good. So this
is something.
That's why I said.
Yeah.
You see, you come to Africa, you go to Ghana. You see, you will find out that their class size will be at most 30.
Okay.
Not like class size. You see, that's why I used to tell them that do not mix general courses and what the professional courses. Classroom management. You have 400 students to deliver classroom management. How will you be able to assess each and every student whether it's able to plan a lesson plan properly? And you come to micro teaching.
Yes.
Micro teaching, which deals with at least 5 to 7 students, you know, and so forth and the like. You know, you are to deal, you know, students have to plan and come and present, you know, in 5 to 10 minutes or whatsoever, a particular lesson and so forth.
Yeah.
How would you be able to assess, you know, 400 students to present within a trimester of 3 months and so forth? What will you deliver, and what will these, you know, learners come back to present and so forth? How many minutes and how many students will be able to present? You know, in fact, all of them may not be able to present, and the trimester will end.
Surely.
And that's what normally happened.
So
yeah, exactly.
Is, you know, you will put, let's say, 20 students in a group, or 25 students in a group. 2 people just present on behalf of the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
No? This does not show effectiveness of teaching and learning.
So it's like the learning and assessment in the college is not effective, or it's not to standard.
Yes. If I am going to tell you my honest and candid opinion, which I am going to be judged upon tomorrow when I die, it is not.
It is not. Okay.
And that, Prof,
Yes.
is filtering back to our educational system. Because when you talk about the teaching fraternity, it starts right there at the Gambia College. And now if teaching is not effective in the Gambia College, then our educational system is affected.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously what happened is nobody have to run away from the blame.
Yeah, in fact, some will even say that like the Gambia College they only consider the quantity, not the quality.
Exactly. And then, you know, for me, if you tell me that, I will be offended.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Baji, with regards to this class,
I want to add that, you see, of course, people may ridicule us and so forth and the like.
Yeah.
But to tell you, the caliber of lecturers that you have at the Gambia College, they have the substance, they can deliver, they have the knowledge and so forth.
Exactly.
I will tell you that they can be anywhere and then deliver up to expectation.
So.
The output that the society receives is as a result of some of these, you know, obstacles or shortcomings that we are facing, like the problem of effective learning
in the Gambia College.
You know, we're discussing.
So, in your presentation, or as lecturers, or you as the chairperson of the Academic Staff Association, the administration, are they providing you with electronic gadgets to do your presentations or lecture?
Well, to be honest, no. You see, I am not a fan of saying what is not available to cover up situation and so forth.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind, you know, them hearing or saying it and saying.
Because they said, the admin said that there are gadgets that were provided for this large class. That is the projector, the PS system, the mic and stuff like that.
How many projectors do we have?
But to my experience, I've only seen people, you know, borrowing or taking this thing, projector from the IT department, and I think IT is having only one.
So
That's to my knowledge. So I don't know whether they have orders that are with lecturers, or I don't know.
Talking about
Because this is what they always say.
Exactly. Talking about that, when you go and meet, maybe perhaps, example, the School of Education going to meet the head of school, you tell her that all these materials are procured already.
Very good.
But now seeing those materials in class is what is the problem.
You don't see them.
You see, what happens is we have to be very realistic and frank. If we are not very frank, our education system will not be helped, and we will not be helped. If we know that we do not have the resources to provide the actual materials that are needed for the effective teaching and learning, then, it is important to tell people what is our problem, so that they will be able to come to our aid. Okay? You see, the Gambia College, most of the time, I'll start from here. Lecturers will endeavor to go extra mile to try to read materials, make a compilation, and then just to come and then give away that sort of like a book or a handout, if people call it. The nature of a handout and a material, a resource material, is different.
It's different, okay.
And if they will call it anyhow, of course, lecturers will want to get something for the efforts that they do. Because the institution should have recruited lecturers. When you are recruited, you should be given resources. That you should be given a laptop, probably a data card, and so forth. But that never happens at the Gambia College. So when lecturers provide these things, they will say lecturers should not sell materials and so forth. Where is the resources that you provide the lecturer to be able to use in order to facilitate that, teaching and learning? It is not there. You don't have projectors. You may only have 2 projectors with the IT department. The IT department are the custodians simply because they are not enough. Otherwise, it should have been every department should have a projector.
Exactly.
Or even, if possible, every lecturer
should have his own projector.
Or they put projectors in the classes. That any class that you move to, you need a projector there. Right?
I think that's what even should be done.
That is not available, and they will always tell you, management will tell you, okay, this is what is there, but you yourself, you will go and know that it is not there. What will be your step? What will be your next step? Because anything that they tell you, you either find the evidence or whatsoever, it's not there. So,
Mr. Bayu, you as the chairperson of the Academic Staff Association, how are you dealing with such situation to make sure that at least you have a level ground wherever you can do your presentation or lecturing at a very, very convenient manner?
You see, when they come to us, when we discussed, they will want to put forward certain constraints for understanding, and they know very well what is needed. They know very well what is available and what is not available. To you people, to at least move away from your complaint and request and so forth, they will tell you that is this, lecturers this. Most of the case we receive that. When students go to management, they blame lecturers.
The lecturers.
When, we are always open to, let students come and understand what is happening, and then they make the judgment. You see? So, but then we have engaged them, because we told them that we are recruited, and when we were recruited, no resources. University recruit, any lecturer who is recruited in the university, you are given a laptop, you are given a data card, and whatsoever the like. You are provided with offices.
Everything
we
you
need. We
need.
one time told that, lecturers, we don't have office. The classroom is our office. So of course we are provoked.
So it's only like, let's say in that aspect, it's like it's only the head of the department that is having the office.
That's it. So to us, we will.
So where do you keep your record and stuff like that?
Very good.
Because you cannot be carrying your records to the home and bringing them every day.
Perhaps I'll challenge you to make a research on that. Then you'll be able to find out, how lecturers keep their records. And this is where, we do not have security of data. Because if I do not have a place to be keeping my records and so forth, eventually a record could easily be missing.
Sure.
People can steal my bag. If I have my everything that I'm utilizing, how about if they steal this bag today? Everything has gone. Where will be the students' grades if I have them in my bag? Where will I recover them and so forth and the like?
This
is it, and that is why it is fundamental for these resources and facilities to be available. But most of the time they will tell us, the college, we don't have that much money. You know, students are paying this. You know, this the ministry student or ministry sponsors is this, and so forth and the like. And of course, you know, I will not hide anything. I will tell you, because actually anybody who is listening there will be able to know that definitely these people need help. And then that is the essence of at least discussing a problem.
Okay.
And you know, if the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is having the lion's share of the students' scholarship and so forth, and the payment is not forthcoming, what is going to happen at the end of the day? It's like there will be no enough fund to even pay the lecturers.
Sure then.
I will not want to go further into the lecturers' payment and so forth and that, because perhaps you know, it's so disheartening. And then we have been, you know, we have almost got 2 to 3 strike, and then looking forward to the improvement and whatsoever. And no authority, no government authority will tell you that what we are paid, you know, is whatsoever. Because today we will find out that even our students that we teach at the end of the day in the school system, those on double shift are receiving more than the lecturer in the Gambia College is receiving.
Seriously?
Yes. And that is to say, the lecturer at the Gambia College have classes that flow from morning to evening. Obviously, it's an automatic double shift.
Double shift, yeah.
But then you only pay the salary and then maybe your allowance that you're entitled like any other person. But then, when you go to the school system, you are paid your salary as a single shift whatsoever. If you have double shift, you are paid 50% of your salary again, and so when you put all those things together, obviously your earning will be more than a lecturer, and that is very disheartening.
So, Mr. Baji, you know, it sounds very funny.
Yeah.
Like talking about a graduate from the Gambia College, maybe receiving more than what
the lecturer
is receiving at the Gambia College. You know, if somebody different from you told me this, I would have said, no, it's not the actual thing on the ground. But then looking at the actual issues at the Gambia College, you made mention of the government. I can tell you this, that since I came to the Gambia College, I haven't seen any government authority coming to the Gambia College to know how the Gambia College students are. And of course, the well-being of the Gambia College students are also neglected. So now if students are neglected, then lecturers are also going to be neglected. And this is the reason why lecturers or the admin are pushing the students to pay the tuition fee. Sometimes when we look at the both aspect, sometimes it is good for us to weigh the balance.
In fact, you have raised an important point. You see, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education used to go to their school system to monitor, and they have a CCM. Go to the schools, monitor, and then make an evaluation and so forth and the like. The higher education have not got that.
They don't have CCM sort of.
Since the time that I was at the Gambia College as a student, up to today, you know, becoming a lecturer and so forth, and even my almost getting to 10 years, you know,
Service in the college.
Gambia College, from being part-time up to being full-time today, you never see higher education come to do an evaluation exercise to know how the college is faring, the problems of the college and so forth. The only thing perhaps is just to call maybe the management to a meeting or whatsoever, or to have a retreat at their own level. But to come to the school and inspect the classes and so forth, it never happens. Even our council members.
Okay.
For the council to come and see how teaching and learning is happening, to be able to improve, you know, the school and whatsoever, it never happens.
Yes.
And I would say this to the top of my voice because I don't care what happens next. I care about the development of the country.
Exactly.
And then, you see, in the Gambia generally, the human resource management is very poor. If people who are responsible of human resource management, if they definitely read human resource management and studied human resource management very well, they will understand that to recruit a staff, you must assess the staff welfare. How many children does the staff have? Which school is the staff children going to? How many children? How many, spouse does the staff have? And so forth. Where does the staff live? The family that the staff is responsible of, taking care of and so forth. All these things are looked at that determine the pay of that staff to be able to deliver effectively. But in the Gambia, in all sectors, human resource management to be able to do recruitment and so forth. Well, I don't know where they're borrowing it. And the only thing is they will tell that Gambia is young, the economy is not there, and so
Yeah,
forth.
I think that is something that our leaders always used to say. You know, always want to tell us sweet words in order to cover their mischievous act.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is very, very disheartening to discover the hard fact that there are some of the insinuation that the central admin will say, which actually is not the reality on the ground. So I believe the academic staff association will also not also bow down or be submissive into anything that is to their own detriment. Would you, Mr. Baji, if I may ask?
No, and that is a big no. At this point, we are only waiting on to have the council, resume to sit-ins, because since last year, when there is a change of council and so forth, we do not have a sit-in. We pass our demands to the council, but the former chairman could not go ahead in reviewing them and then make a decision, because he said he's already handing over and so forth. So we will want his successor to, take over that and see how best, it could be remedied.
Yeah.
Up to today, we are still patiently trying to negotiate with them and so forth. Of course, the management is also trying to respond to certain, demands, trying to make sure that we come up with policies.
Okay.
That's why we have been engaging on policy, development and review and so forth for the past, months.
Okay.
And so far, we were able to come up with about 16 policies that we have developed and then reviewed. Although we know that there are yet more policies, to be put in place to help the management and the smooth running of the institution. This was one fundamental thing that the institution was lacking. And then, we were just controlled anyhow, based on prescription.
Yeah. So to the new policies that were added or during the validation process, how do you gauge those improvements? Those policies, new policies that were put in place?
Actually, I think we have put up good policies that will help the smooth and effective running of the institution. Our only fear is whether those in management will be working by those policies.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to develop a policy, and it's another thing to work by the policies,
policies.
to implement the policies as it is.
Okay.
And that is where we will serve as an oversight as an association
Exactly.
to see that if things are not going well, well, we will call the management to table to discuss certain things which are not, fairly, implemented or not implemented as the policy dictates. If you don't have policies, you cannot rely on anything. Once the policies are there, if they are not doing certain things, we can always, call on them that this is what the policy have said, but it is not carried out this way. Yeah? And then that we can go to any level. But if policies are not there, where will you bank on your argument?
So that is to say the policies will serve as a reference point for both the lecturers, the administration, and the student at large, or the student leaders, if I may call it. Yes. Now let's just look into the issue of the portal, which is something a very, very good initiative in the college. For the past years, people have been talking about portal issue, regards to the registration, sending of grades and the like. But from our evaluation, to my understanding of what I've gauged, is like the portal is not functioning to the expectation. And some people would say, or some of the students would say, I don't know where they get that version from, but others will say like the pioneer of the portal is been sidelined, or the responsibility is been taken from him and given to someone else who did not have more knowledge or clue about how portal system operates, which actually lead to the dormancy of the function of the portal, and in which many people acknowledge or attributed that you, Mr. Baji, is the pioneer of the portal in the Gambia College.
Okay.
So
actually, I met the portal.
Okay.
I come to learn that there is a portal, but the thing is they're not using it.
Okay.
And then they started the portal, the college started the portal before the University of the Gambia.
Okay.
And the product was developed for Gambia College. Okay, so when Professor Emoka came and was there, was able to pick it up and then have it for the university, and now they update it, for the university, and then university also have a product. But the main product was designed for the Gambia College because among the sort of like the initiators
of the portal, okay.
They were one time the staff of the Gambia College. So the portal was there. So what would happen is it was not in use. It was sort of like dormant. Okay. So having the little experience at the university while I was there, trying to support the School of Education and the like. When I came, I was now pushing because we faced a lot of problems of what grades and so forth. Then I started pushing and said, why not we also go in for a portal like the university?
Okay.
And that was the time that I was aware that, well, there is already a portal. The only thing is not functioning. And when I make findings, I realized that it's like the portal does not have all features just like the university owned. So, I started picking it up from there. Engaging the management, I was seen as very fundamental and active in that. Then the principal empowered me to continue seeing how best, we're able to work with the portal to bring it up. So he was indeed very supportive on that area. And that is one thing that I cherish him for. Once an initiative is there, people come up with, and then people are ready to take up the challenge and so forth.
You always
of
support.
course, he gives the necessary support and the like. But you see, the attitude of people to work is also something which is very, very fundamental.
Exactly.
Okay, we have faced challenges of what people's attitude towards accepting initiatives and so forth. And sometimes what happens is people will tend to look at who is coming up with this initiative and so forth. Okay, if you are not the people's favorite at a time, what happens is they may not tend to support you or try to make sure that they will always try to see that it fails.
Exactly, yeah.
But to me, I believe in challenges and so forth.
Sure.
We went with the portal, we are able to start it because what we believe is like we start it and gradually we develop and then we will get it safe.
Surely.
That's what happens with the university. When we started the first semester, it doesn't work. We resolved back into how we used to do it. Up to the following semester, and the like, that is when, it started.
And it's going normal.
It keeps us having obstacles and the like. IT people have to always call the developers here and there, So to us also, we should have maintained it, but eventually what happened is people start sabotaging, the system and so forth, and eventually, things got silenced. But, fortunately, I was recalled by the principal that they have a retreat, and then it was noted that Gambia College should be on a system. From there, he called my attention. We went, and then he asked certain things. And then I told him that it is, and then it can work. So he wants to know whether if we launch grades, students will see it. I said, I can do that in your presence. I launched the grades, and we called the students. They confirmed that they have seen their grades.
Okay.
So
the grade that we are launched, is it a particular batch or
just a particular batch? It's the first batch that we started.
Oh, okay.
Understand? So although because there was a halt and the like, so most of us do not end up, launching the grades to the portal because there was a halt. But when he wanted to see whether it works, I was able to launch, the grades to those who have registered, and then they have seen their grades. So we pick it up. Then I decided to go back to university and then check what their portal system has and so forth. Bring it up, report to him. He called the developers to a meeting. We give them feedback to what we want the portal to have and so forth. And then we started it with it again. And to tell you that, actually, nobody will say that there is all the online platforms or whatsoever are safe. But I can say that the portal is functioning. And in fact, I have just given the information to some students that by Monday, accounts will clear the students who have paid and perhaps those whose scholarship have been approved, to be able to register their courses so that lecturers will be able to. And, we urge students to register in the portal, because if you register in the portal, we recognize you as a student, because we'll be able to get your grades, in the portal.
Okay.
And we'll view your grades.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the issue of the portal is a very crucial issue here. Because looking at the portal, I can say when we came in 2019, that was when we met the portal there. And then I could remember you were the one who was explaining how the portal operates and how students are supposed to log into their portals and see their marks. But after 2019, like if you go and check right now, our batch, you will find list, or let me say 2 or 3 courses.
The final year
Students.
Yeah.
You realize that some of the courses are not inputted, or the grades are not inputted there. And then when we went to teaching practice and we came back, the portal was at a halt, like just what you have said. But right now, it's been ignited again. Like we went to Mr. Job, he told us about there was a grade office. The grade office is going to be in support of the portal in making sure that grades are not missing. But up to date, the course that we did before we are on teaching practice, because the year 3s and then the year 2s recently are on teaching practice, some of the courses are not yet inputted in the portal. So you will see that students will in fact come to us as student leaders telling us that, look, this portal should in fact be banned. Because when you look at this, the purpose of the portal is for us to see our grades. But now, what is the purpose of the portal if grades are not uploaded in the portal? And when he talks to some lecturers, he will say, we don't have any clue on how to upload the grades on the portal. So what is this trying to tell us?
You see, I talked about, attitude, people's attitude to work. And of course, for students, we only orient them, we only send them either a video or we send them steps to how to get into the portal and do registration online. But for the lecturers, we offer them training. The first 2019, we offered them training in the staff room.
About the portal operation?
How to log in the portal, how to upload grade, we offer them training.
So you mean all the staff?
Yes, we offer them training. And even when we reactivate it, underline, we equally offer them training.
Again.
So the only thing is, of course, being their leader, their president and whatsoever, you see, I tell them I don't hide the truth. Of course, we have people who are very much sincere and ready to work. We also have people that we are battling with, that we are struggling with. Okay, I have to go the extra mile to meet them, take their grades, open their portal and upload it for them.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we have the portal on shape.
Okay.
See that? So, like you are talking about, like during that time, of course, some grades are in and some are not in. And when the sabotage come in, what happens is everything has to be at halt.
Okay.
Because people start saying that, grades overflowing and so forth and the like. So we have to have that overhaul of the portal and the like. But when we reactivated it, I was ready to take up the task to make sure that the year 3s now, that's your badge.
Yes.
They have all their grades in the portal. Because it will be easy for me. My plan was like to go to where we have that overhaul of the portal, open that trimester, because you are on the ground, open it, allow you to register those courses, and then we upload the grades. And open up the other semesters, subsequently like that.
Mr. Baye, I have no doubt that you have a lot to say with regards to today's topic. But really, I'm very, very impressed with the deliberation that you have made on the topic of our discussion. Time is not on our side. So before you will take leave of the stage, I will just allow you to give your concluding remark.
Well, thank you very much. I would just want to say that we are all together in this, everybody in this country. We are all together in this. The Gambia College is the first tertiary institution in the country, and then the largest tertiary institution in the country, yet still our numbers cannot be matched with the numbers of the university. So we are still the largest and the oldest tertiary institution in this country. And see, I can say about 70% of the civil servants have all passed through the Gambia College, and even government officials have passed through the Gambia College. And just to say that everybody has to put hands on deck to make sure that we support the Gambia College, for a better Gambia. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Baye. So, Yaya,
Yeah.
my co-host for today's episode. You can also give your concluding remark.
Yeah, all I have to say is like just to add on what Mr. Baye said,
Mhm.
the Gambia College belongs to everybody. It belongs to everyone. Then I would like to urge on the government and philanthropists to come to the aid of the Gambia College. The Gambia College needs help, and we will really appreciate the entire country, the president, and whosoever is concerned about the well-being of the Gambia College students, the Gambia College lecturers, and as well the teachers and the future of the Gambia. We will really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very, very much, Mr. Baji, and the Baji Square, I can see. um, Viewers, just to remind you, our today's topic was the effectiveness of learning and assessment in the Gambia College, and we've all heard from Mr. Baji what he have highlighted. So it means like there is a lot of issues that need to be put in place and that need to be addressed, because like most of the time there are certain insinuations that have been made from the administrations or from the student representative which are not actually the issue on the ground. But we hope so with the points that have been highlighted, the authorities concerned will definitely take notes, and then will definitely make sure that there's something done with these issues. So with that, we thank you all. I'm your main presenter or your host, Lamin Ba, or Lamin Enba alias Prof, and my co-host is Yaya Baji with our guest Mr. Umar Baji. So thank you all once again, viewers. Still, we come on your way next week Thursday.
Yeah.